All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again to Farafina show. This time around, our program is going to be about relationship, and we want to discuss a couple of things that in relationship most of the time people do not like to talk about because it feels really weird to talk about those things, and sometimes even if they talk about them, at the end of the day, it's going to cause trouble.
Yeah.
So today we are here to discuss those. And first of all, let me just begin with this for all of you guys that will be watching us today or will not get the chance to watch us. Like, we're going to do a live video after this on Facebook where we will be able to interact with you guys that will be watching it. So if you are watching it on Facebook, just remember that after after this program, there will be another program that will be coming up, and you can call and tell us what you think about this. So here with me today in the studio as a co-host and a guest to this program is Andrea Imani Weah. So Andrea is the host of the program called An Hour of Wisdom. It is a live show program on Facebook, and it runs every Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So good afternoon and welcome to the show, Andrea.
Good afternoon, Mohammed. Thank you for having me here again.
All right, so like we said, today's program we have those three things to discuss. So the big one, one of them is being faithful in a relationship. Is it hard or easy? That's one thing that we want to discuss today. Argument, always arguing in a relationship. Is that something natural? Is it okay? Is it bad? And the big one, the password of your social media account. Is your significant other entitled to that? What is your take on all of those? So that is what we will be discussing right here, right now on Farafina Show with Andrea Imani. So Andrea, let's get started first. I think, we are talking about relationship here. And most of the time, when people talk about relationship, they always think about females.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, they have more idea, So I know I'm going to be dominated, but so let's see. But let's start with, the first one we talk about. Faithfulness, being faithful in a relationship. What do you consider being faithful in the first place, though?
I think being faithful is just understanding that it is no longer just about you, but you're sharing that with someone, and if you have kids, it is all about the family. And so we need to take into consideration when we do things that will kind of jeopardize our family, it's not just going to affect just us. The kids are watching, and it kind of leave a stigma on people for a long time. Because, people go through things. Some people easily let go and some people don't. So it is just very important to be very transparent. Transparency is one of the most important things to do in any relationship.
Okay, that's good. And pretty much, like we said, we will both be discussing here. And that's most likely what I think. Maybe I'm copying her now. I'm gonna do a copy and paste today. So but when it comes to being faithful in a relationship, that's pretty much what I think. Because relationship is not about one person.
No.
It's like when they say somebody is your relative, it means it's not only about you now, but it's about you and somebody. That's what relation comes from. So being faithful in a relationship is something that has to do with both partners. It doesn't have to do with one person, and the way you deal with the person, thinking about your kids, looking at you, because they are also learning from you. So doing the right thing and trying to avoid the wrong thing is being faithful at times, even though it is very hard, which of course we are going to be discussing right now, like how easy or hard it is to be faithful in a relationship, because cheating is another thing, which is very tough. And some people even think that it's very hard. Once a cheater, you cannot avoid cheating anymore, So, I don't know.
So, like being faithful, like I said, some things will come up in the relationship, but when you have a good communication, and nowadays people are into marriages because they find it as competition. When you find yourself in situations like that, just know that if you don't have God involved and the right people around you, you're going to just set yourself up for failure, because we have temptations. Like I tell people all the time, nowadays wearing clothes is no longer an option. You know, people got all the money-made bodies and they can wear whatever they want to wear.
Exactly.
So it actually takes, even the men now, they're getting surgery done for, you know, six packs and muscles. And so it is not just temptation for the men, but even the women as well. Obviously, there will always be someone looking better than the next person. But it all comes with the mindset in what you enter the relationship with, and have the fear of God. Because the fear of God will always let you know that this is not what God wants. If God wanted us to be running the streets as prostitutes, you know, we all probably would have loved it. But He is a God of family. And so it is very important to keep that in mind.
Yep, definitely. And, you know, that's exactly like, you know, being faithful and then cheating sometimes. Because people always think that being faithful is tough. And of course it is.
It can be.
And, you know, I always ask myself, like, those who are faithful and those who are not, are the faithful ones stronger than those who are not? Because, like, you know, being faithful in a relationship, you got to avoid a lot of things. Like you talk about temptation here, you talk about men, and I'll talk about women too. You know, you see women in the street there, sometimes it just makes you feel like, you know what, I think this is the person that I have to go for, you know? But holding yourself back, telling yourself that, yep, this is not who I am. I cannot do this because I have someone behind me. I have someone calling me over there, my husband, you know, my wife or something like that. That little thing there is not just easy. To hold yourself back, it's not easy. But now the big question is, those who hold themselves back, those who try to avoid situations like that, are they stronger than those who do not?
I don't think so. Like one thing, you know, religion should be able to play a huge part in our relationship, going through the worst times, and to be able to just pull through it. Once again, if you have some spiritual people around you, temptations can come. Like, you know, even around us, we have some people, due to infidelity, they had children outside of the marriage. But once you understand the foundation of marriage, before you even make a decision based on what your partner did, you will consult, you know, the older folks, get insight and get a word. Because sometimes too, you see some people, they are cheating. I strongly believe not every marriage is of God. Some people put themselves together because of physical attraction. Now, if you get with someone physically, that physical attraction fades away. Their body may still be the same, but if you got with them because you saw them, you know, and they look so amazing and they can dress, what about the inside? So you don't really get to understand that until you really get to settle down with this person, and then you start to find out some things. Now, not everyone will be able to withhold themselves, you know, when they have a wife that is just nagging, that don't cook, that don't clean. So what they try to do is to seek comfort in the arms of other people, which necessarily isn't a good idea. But once again, it is tough. You just need to be prayerful about it.
And, you know, to all of you guys that are watching there, like we told you, you know, we'll have a program where you'll be able to express yourself. So think about those things that we are discussing now, though. Write them down, have your answers ready for us, and give us a call. Let us know what you think. And the call number is always going to be 763-221-1661. Again, 763-221-1661. That's the number that you're going to be using to call. So cheating and faithfulness, which one is harder? Which one is harder? Because, you know, we just spoke about faithfulness right now. Like, being faithful is not easy. But what about cheating, though? Is it easy?
No, it is not. It is not.
Because it requires a lot of stuff.
It requires a lot. You have to be like the feds. You always have to pay attention to your phone. You have to pay attention to messages. Even when you're out in public, it's hard to just disguise, because someone you're physically attracted to and the next person is in a relationship, even if you guys go out and try to stay away from each other, someone somewhere will notice something. The body language is always different. And so, you know, that's what physical attraction does, because it's like, if I was with you the night before and I'm looking at you with your wife, it's like a joke to me. I'm like, wait, bro, what are you doing, you know? But that's just what it is. But it is never easy, because you always have to just be hiding things. Like for me, I'm very terrible with passwords. I don't like to remember passwords. And so everything is my term. Because for every time you try to get in contact with someone else, that means extra security.
Yeah.
So, and it's tough. And for us women, I always tell people, when you're running the streets, you have a couple of boyfriends, you're misusing yourself. Because, you know, I'm not like innocent. I had those instances in my life before that were way in the past, but I've had those before, and it is never easy, because sometimes you get done, you go home, you're like, what have I done? Like, was it really necessary? So as a woman, and now even with the younger generation coming up, when you try to tell them this is not the way, because I know how draining it can be on the body. And when you really look at yourself and you have daughters, I said to myself, wow, I'm so glad where I'm at right now, because I can imagine if I had stayed in that lifestyle and had a daughter, and then my daughter started to follow my footsteps, that's not something you want to look at. So.
Yeah, that's the thing about cheating, you know, and faithfulness. Like we just spoke about cheating right now. Like you guys that are watching it, like if, like she said, it's like, you know, you got to have that extra security.
Extra.
You know, because the thing is, you are more careful than any other person that will be around you at that particular time.
And you can never be too careful. That's the funny thing, because there will always be loopholes.
Yeah, that's the problem. You know, you always try to avoid certain things, but it's never possible for you to avoid it completely, because it's like, I am doing this, I'm thinking nobody's watching, but another person is over there watching, because you don't have more than two eyes.
No.
You do have the ones that are facing this way, but what about behind you? What about your right hand side and your left hand side? Can you be able to see from all of those places? No. You know, and Andrea talked about passwords. I can't wait for us to discuss that. You know, that will be coming up, because that is something about relationship that is really, really tough too, that everybody kind of try to, you know, but now we have talked about those things. So let's try to see what are some of the ways, though, that can help one to be faithful. Because in life, there's always things that you have to learn from other people. You know, you might have your own situation. You'll be like, yeah, I have just tried this, but I do not know how to get out of this. But then somebody else is going to be there telling you, like, you know what, I have been in this before, and this is what I did to get out. So there will always be ways. So what are some of the ways? We will give you ways right now. You give us some ways if you give us a call to let us know what are the ways that you can do to try to be faithful.
I think number one is honesty. You have to be honest with yourself. Let's forget about you trying to do it for your partner, but do it for yourself, within yourself. Take a look at yourself inside and say, for how long am I going to pretend? Because that's an acting class that you really don't need. And temptations do come, but you have to be able to communicate. So, like for me, getting married at such a young age, it has not been easy, because I was such an introvert. I still am. I don't really say a lot. When I get among people, I can speak and express myself. But when it comes to my partner, even at home, I'm very laid back. I just don't pay attention to too much. But one thing that I have learned is to communicate. So even if you go out today and you see someone that looks good, I mean, lust, you know, cheating comes from you starting to lust. You see the person physically, and you can't get them out of your mind. And you start to lust. You start to feel like, okay, if I was with them, what would I do? Right at that, I believe you should be able to communicate with your partner. And if you guys are spiritual people, once anything is in the open, you can always be able to attack it.
But there are some partners, though, that
they're
may
tough.
Find that offensive. Like if you try to
but then at least you made your point to them. Just there is nothing wrong with you trying.
Yeah, and that's been very faithful.
Explain it to them. Let them know this is my weakness for now. And so I'm going to need you to work along with me, because relationship is two. You know, you guys both have to come together with combined efforts. So if they're even going to take offense to it, at least I know within myself, I have told you this is my weakness. This person is my weakness. And exactly why they're my weaknesses, because you know, sometimes you see people with swag. It's so crazy, especially for women. You take a look at a man, you look at his outfit, you're like, man, okay, but go get your man that outfit. But it's just something about someone that is outside. They always look better than what you have on the inside. And so if you can just communicate with your partner, let them know at least you've done your part.
Yeah, and I think, you know, communication is a very huge part in a relationship. Like you just said, you know, I have always thought of that, like, maybe you see something, you know, somebody that you want the person because of that. You can also try to put that thing into your own self. I mean, and when I say your own self here, like Andrea said, relationship is about two persons. I'm talking about a significant other. Like you can tell that person, this is what I like about other women. This is what I like about other men. And I want you to do this.
And do those things.
And one thing that we should not always forget to is this, because I have seen that when it comes to women or men, we all have that problem. Like there are people that, like, you can be in a relationship with somebody, the person does not like some things. You do not want to violate their right to force them into that, because you see that into other people. If it is good, that's a good thing. You can try to work on that. But if it is not a good thing, you cannot just force the person to do that because you want them to do that, or because you have the power at that particular time. Because that's one thing too that we have been suffering from, especially you know Africans and others like that. Because back home, you see that most time men always have that choice. Like, you know, you got to decide what your wife does. Which is a good thing. But at the same time too, it is also good to ask your wife at times too. She's your partner. And when we talk about partnership, we are talking about collaboration. We are talking about working together. If you guys are working together, you must come together to decide on certain things, things at times. But the decision cannot be one-sided. Like, if I say, that's it.
That's not a dictatorship. That's a relationship. And so once again, you talk about enforcing what you like on your partner. When you get with someone, it is very important to get to know what they like and what they don't like. And to be honest with you, some things are just basic. And so some people, I look at people losing their relationship maybe because they refuse to just make, I call it, some alterations. Those things are very important. If I want to please my husband, that's my husband, what he likes, if I don't even do it every day, I am going to try to do it often. You know, once again, it is all about making the effort. You cannot sit and say, oh, my mom didn't teach me how to cook, so I'm not going to cook. Well, who's responsible for that? As a wife, when you made up your mind to get married, I hope you remember that you have to feed your husband. I hope you remember you have to clean. I hope you remember you have to be a wife and you have to be a friend. So it's just not about the bedroom. It's about you even being there mentally to support your partner too. So we as women, we have to play our part. We constantly complain about men, but we are not doing our part most of the time. And then on the other hand, they have some people who are, you know, doing their part, and it is up to you men. So I'm going to let you guys, you know, speak for the men.
Definitely, yeah. You know, I think I can speak a little bit on that. And, you know, that's exactly how it is, because everybody's got to play his part in this whole situation here. Because if you are men too, we understand, especially for us, the African men, when it comes to cleaning up home and other things, we are not really used to that. We are not good at that. We suck at that. I would say that. But you cannot do it all, but there should be some things that you can do, though. If we look at our grandparents, our fathers and mothers, I mean, our fathers, they did not really do those things that we just talked about. Like, you know, they never used to clean for their wives, but they were really responsible.
They were.
Like, they used to take care of the family.
They provided.
They tell the family, I will provide. You do this one here, but don't worry about this. I am going to take care of this. I will prove to you that I'm the man in the house or in the home. You know, so you got to prove yourself in that way too. If you are not able to be the one to be cleaning up all the time, if you are not able to be the one that will be cooking, what about you providing it then? You want your wife to cook. You want your wife to clean up. You want your wife to do all those things. But every single thing in the house, you want it to be done 50-50. And you are still saying that, you know, she's my wife. If she is your wife, you got to take care of some of those things. It is okay, like you said, the women, you know, you the women, you have to support your man mentally, support him physically. That's the support you give him. But at the same time, there should be that understanding as to whom is the husband and who is the wife. You know, like, this is our responsibilities.
Yeah.
And you communicate among yourself, discuss those things. So everybody try to play his part.
Yeah.
Not to be like a confusion every day where we're going to talk about that though,
Yeah.
like, argument in a relationship. But there's one big thing that I always want us to touch on that a lot of people do not like to talk about. How often is it that people talk to their wives, husbands about cheating or faithfulness? Like, what do you think about it? What is this?
I don't know. I think it is something that people should just have a conversation about, because sometimes you can be married for 20, 40 years. Sometimes you can feel neglected. I'm telling you. It happens, be it old or young, you find yourself being neglected. Sometimes maybe the man is just too busy being, the sole provider. And that's what it comes into play again about working together. Because if you are going to complain about the man being gone all the time, but yet you are a stay-at-home wife, like I am, it gets tough. Because sometimes my husband leaves like in the morning, he comes home maybe like about 30 minutes and he goes and he comes back, just about midnight. So if you don't really have that strong foundation to understand, let me behave. It gets really, really tough. And sometimes I have to tell him, like, you need to just sit down today. Like, if you have a day off, like, sit down, because we're young people. But then at the same time, it's like, I'm different. I'm so laid back. I can stay home 7 days a week. It won't bother me. But for relationships nowadays, we shouldn't spend more time with the friends than we spend with the, our partner. This is becoming a problem. Like, the more I spend time with you, the more I will get connected with you up here. It is a normal thing.
Definitely.
Now, if I'm getting so connected to you where I'm talking to you every single time, trust me, we're going to have some kind of connection. So you see, sometimes people start to have relationship from those things because they are so connected. They talk to each other about what's going on when it actually shouldn't be the case. But the other person is just, people can be married and be lonely. People can be in a 20 years long relationship and they can be lonely. This is one of the most terrible things, because from there comes cheating. And those kind of cheating, once it starts, it don't stop easily. Because you already build a whole solid foundation. It's just not you seeing somebody today and you'll go do like a one night stand. You guys started from being friends. You start to communicate. What are you doing today? It's concern. Women, we love concern. The moment you check on women, they break. You check on the woman, how you doing? Have you eaten? Trust me, that woman start to feel something. So we all need to do our part, because this is ruining beautiful marriages or relationships.
Exactly. It cannot be said any better than that. Andrea just hit the point. And that is still about communication right there. I'll keep repeating that one thing, communication, because, we just spoke about how to communicate with each other concerning issues like cheating and faithfulness, because if you guys talk about it, like, the more you talk, the more you get to understand each other, and the more you get used to each other. I have always said that though, like you said, there are times you have people in your life, the more you talk to them, the more you get connected to them, the more you get used to them, and the more you have feeling for them. And as long as you continue to build those feelings, it changes into something else.
Those feelings get turned into dates.
And then what happens after that? So that's the problem. So if you have a wife or husband home, and one of them is, like I always say that even eating together is a good thing at times. Eating together is a good thing at times. Doing things together will be good at times. It's possible a man knows how to go and do laundry. A woman can also know how to do laundry, but even doing it together, it's a good thing at times.
It is a good thing.
Like, you go to the laundromat and someone sees you, that, oh, you with your wife? Is that your husband? Then that understanding is right there. But if you go there and then they'll be like, oh, you married? I'm just saying this, but it happens though. People may take it somehow right now, but it happens. Some people can be ashamed of telling people that they are married at times. But if they do have their wives or their husbands right behind them, they do not have a choice. They will have to say it. But if they are on their own, most time you ask them, they give you an indirect answer.
There is no point to keep trying to make some, because you see sometimes a lot of people make excuses for their partner. Oh, he's not here or she's not here because, that person just chose not to be working alongside with that partner like that. And that shouldn't really be the case. To be honest with you, should be able to spend more time with your family. And if it is not the case, that happens. We're in a busy country where everyone has to work. Just make some time. Like for me, you see those kind of things, like I say, really don't bother me because I can stay indoor all day. But my husband is the kind of person, he feels like when he have like one day off, we should do something. I'm like, dude, you've been gone like 2 weeks straight. So, you know, now it's like, now I'm trying to rebel because I'm constantly, you know, by myself when it shouldn't be that way. But at least it's the effort, because if you don't put in time where you're supposed to put in time, that's a loophole, and something will come and pass right through that loophole. And then all of a sudden, the woman now is, you know, she's a cheater or she's an adulterous woman, you know. But what have you been doing? Even with the men, you're spending more time with this person, your home girl. You're building a foundation, and for every time they do that, there becomes a separation. You may not see it, but spiritually it is there, because it is already a barrier right there. Your wife will never know certain things if you don't tell her.
That's true. And you know, that was the first portion of this program. I can't believe we've already spent 25 minutes on that, because it is a very interesting one.
It is.
And I cannot wait to interact with you guys, you know. So let's get to the second segment of this program, which is argument or arguing in a relationship. Is it something natural? Is it something good? Because there are people that say the more people argue within a relationship, the more it gets stronger. And there are people who do not believe that a quiet relationship, people think a quiet relationship is better. And then another thing is argument and a debate. What's the difference between them when it comes to relationship? Because people confuse them sometimes. Argument can be there and a debate is something else. So we want to talk about those now. But let's start with argument first. Arguing in a relationship, is it something natural, or is there something that people make themselves?
Argument is not a form of communication, because you don't come to a resolution about whatever you guys are arguing about. One person leave angry, the other person leave angry, and then you guys have to lay down in separate rooms, or some people lay down on the floor. That's not going to resolve anything. It is actually going to create more of a high feelings, just because you didn't come to a resolution. Because sometimes people get into argument and they say some really mean things. So like one thing I tell people, if you feel at the moment you don't feel like talking, just walk away. Because when you say some things, there is no way you can go and say, oh, I didn't mean to. Before you speak something, it is already in your head. So that's why I always tell people, if you don't have anything nice to say at this point, do not speak. Just walk away.
Just walk away.
Because you end up saying some real truth within the argument. And that's where, again, communication comes into play, because sometimes we just go about our normal business. We don't sit and have a conversation. Now, let me tell you, when people say, oh, argument is the best, it make relationships stronger. No. You know, we are all adults. The sex afterwards is good. That's make-up sex. It don't remove the problem. It just calms down the tension. But the next time, the same thing will happen. So is the after sex going to be your form of communication without resolution? I don't think so.
And that you know, that's the thing about argument. You know, arguing a relationship. Like last time we saw a video on Facebook where, you know, two persons were arguing, and we've been told that they are together. You know, they're in a relationship. And it was posted live on Facebook. Everybody was watching it. I saw over 1,400 people watching it that day when they were arguing among themselves. You know, that's not helpful. That's not healthy when it comes to relationship.
No, it is
because you having an argument, and we said like an argument and debate, those are two different things. Because you can bring in an issue and you guys can debate over that issue
and come to a conclusion.
As to what is good, and then you come to a conclusion, which of course is the best thing when it comes to relationship. But argument is something different. Like you said, you can argue. At the end of the day, you go into separate rooms, you try to sleep. Guess what? Something else comes to your mind. You start thinking about other things.
You like, start to text people to keep you company, because that's automatically avoided.
And then you start thinking about things like, you know what, this person, maybe there is another person that I should have been with, and I'm not with that person today. I don't think this person is the best person for me. Probably let me go and check on that person. And then it brings in more problems.
It brings in people.
And there is this thing. Most of the time, if you have somebody on the side, and you kind of have an argument, you know, within your relationship or something like that, you try to go to that person. Most time they always feel like, you know what, this person must be in need.
Yeah, because they are in need, actually.
And men in that situation, I don't know about women, but men like to take advantage of that.
Yeah, even women do this.
Yeah, they like to take advantage of that. They'll be like, you know what, this is my time. I'm sure this person is this person is that. People sometimes wait to see relationships being torn apart.
Yes.
And then that's when they will come in and try to get what they have been looking for.
But then again, if we don't tear down our own relationship, no one can come from the outside to destroy it.
Yeah.
We continue to destroy our marriages and blame it on people. Yes, there are people at fault. Like, you know, there are people who, they will see a lot of single people, they don't date them.
Yeah.
They want to come and see someone who's been in a relationship for so long, and then they want to come and intrude. You're not doing it just to that person. You're actually blocking your way, because you're going to be waiting for someone's wife or someone's husband to leave. That's not going to happen anytime soon. You're going to be sitting on that bench, you know, when we need you, we'll call you kind of situation. So I don't know. It's just, we need to listen to our partner, because sometimes people cry out for help in relationship. You tell the person, I don't like this. They constantly do exactly what you tell them you don't like. So how do we even deal with that? People found comfort in the arms of other people who just give them a listening ear. Besides communication, we need to be able to listen and cooperate and compromise in a relationship. We have to.
Yep, we have to. Yeah. You got to have that listening ear, you know, to be able to understand the other person. Like we said earlier, it is not a one-sided game to say, if I say, nobody else can say, you know, because like for arguments, for example, sometimes they start with things that are very unnecessary.
So petty.
Yeah. You just want to talk about something, and you say something that is very, very true. It's absolutely true that, you know, things may come out. You may say things that you have been keeping within yourself for a very long time, and it's the hard truth.
It is.
Yeah, you may say at the end of the day that, oh yeah, I did not mean to say this one. This is not, you know, this was not intentional. Yeah. But trust me, you have had it within your heart for a long time. And when you get angry, it just comes out.
It comes, it does.
It is uncontrollable at that moment, you know. So walking away, especially when, like, you know, I do not want to praise myself on that, but yeah, that's one thing apart from relationship that I have tried to do in many cases, like dealing with my friends and other people. Sometimes they be like, when I get mad, I just sit. Yeah. You know, I look really dumb to myself at that time because I don't say anything. Right. But then at the end of the day, I'm like, it was good that I had to do this to myself. Because if I had not kept myself in that quiet mood at that particular time, I would have said things that I would be regretting by now. Yeah.
Yep. So it is also, there is one, that's number one, you should always be able to walk away. Because if you walk away, the person's going to keep quiet. Yeah. They're not going to keep talking. Like the incident you mentioned on Facebook, they're both at fault. But if one person would have walked away, we would not be sitting and have that video go up to almost 70,000 views right now, when we're doing something positive in a community and we can barely even get 2,000 views. The negative always get more, you know, attention. And so this is one of the reasons why we should promote more positivity, and it should also start from within our home. You see, some people, when they come outside, they don't know how to behave. It's because at home, they don't behave. They don't know how to behave. Right. So if you don't behave within your home, when you come out or you come on social media, you're going to do the same thing. So it starts from within. People need to just be able to control themselves. You're not running campaign where you have to act. If you don't do this, then you're not cool. Actually, people end up making themselves look so stupid when they do that. And no one wants you with that kind of attitude. Ain't nobody wants you. You can look pretty and handsome, and people can want to mess with you for one night or a week. But the moment your attitude shows up, I don't want you. You don't want that person. That's not what we want to deal with. So,
that's the thing. You know, trying to always be in that mood, and then spreading the positive news around. You know, because people are always very fast. Like that day when we were reading those, you know, the comments on that thing. most of the people that were commenting were like, well, why don't you want us to share it? They are the ones who posted it, so we'll share it.
And we couldn't control that.
Yeah, and people were sharing it like crazy because that is something negative, and people always want to send the negative things out there.
And it was so sad because that very girl I happen to know, she's like a very good, and when I tell you, a beautiful wife, a very good mother. Yeah. She's someone who, I mean, she will cook, she will clean, she will do everything for that brother. So I know that story personally, and once again, it was mostly his fault. Yeah. But we tried to just let the both of them know that someone could have walked away, even to my sister, she could have. But once again, when a woman is fed up, what do you think? Yeah, she's going to explode. Yeah. Because I have spoken with her on several occasions where she, you know, she let me know what is happening. And at some point, someone gets tired. She got frustrated with her trying to make it work. And it shouldn't be one person trying to make it work. It should be both parties. And she felt like she had done her part. Yeah. And I actually agree with her because I know, you know, a lot. We can't really say it, but I've always been knowing along the way what she has been going through as a mother and a wife. Yeah,
and that's exactly what it is, you know, like walking away. We had a situation on Facebook the last time, I think I was in August or probably July. And, you know, I'm just going to say this. We had some friends who were all arguing among ourselves. And it took forever for anybody to understand. Right. Something just came to my mind. I was at work trying to interact with them, and I told everybody, like, you know what? This one guy is just trying to argue with everybody, and he's not stopping. And I was like, my man, you need to stop this. And he said, I will never stop. Oh. So then it came to my mind, like, you know what? Let me just tell everybody to let this guy be, and let's see if he's going to say anything. Yeah. And I just posted out there, like, you know what? Nobody should say anything again. Let's see what this guy will say. Yeah. He only wrote one statement after that, and that was it.
Yeah, that was it.
Because everybody let it go. But it was like the more we keep talking, the more he keeps going. Yeah. But then when everybody stopped, he left.
Yeah, that's what happened.
And the worst thing, or the funniest thing, he actually left the group. Yeah. Because he was pissed off because of that. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And you know, that's not being negative about him or whatever it is, but it's just to bring up a situation where one party can let it go and the other person is just gonna let it go because they have no choice. Yeah. I mean, you know, in my tribe, you know, they always say that, they say it's two mouths that make a discussion to go further. To go far, yeah. Because if we are discussing and you go, I'm on my own. I will not continue to talk by myself.
We're going to talk to empty room.
Yeah, so that makes a lot of sense, you know? Oh. Yeah, and it's very much interesting. All of those things that we have been discussing right now, we can't just wait to interact with you guys because, I mean, if I can do this for the whole day, I don't think I'm going to run out of words. No, we won't. And I don't think Andrea will either. So it is very good, you know? Yeah. So, and I know you guys that will be calling too. I mean, we might have to cut some of you guys off because it's going to be tough. But yeah, let's go to one big one, which is the password of the social media account. Oh my
goodness.
Should I say the social security, like Andrea told me some time ago, or the VIN number? So the password of the social media account, you know, is your significant other entitled to that? Being it a man or woman, does the person deserve to have that? And in many cases, we have realized that men want to know the password of, you know, their partners, but they do not want their partners to know about their passwords.
They don't. Yeah. And it's like, why?
So why is it that one group is okay to know the other person's password, but the other group is not okay to do the same thing?
Do you know what is so funny? Yeah. Men, they're always so concerned about themselves and how they'll feel when someone else is talking to their woman, but they don't take into consideration how we feel when they're talking to someone else. Because they all like to say, oh, you know, women cheat and it's all emotional thing. We cheat just with a physical thing. Well, emotional, physical, whatever it is, something ending with a call. So to be honest with you, we should all be able to work along. But I wasn't a huge fan of just letting my man into my password because as much as my husband is cool, I don't touch his phone. and so he don't touch my phone. That is something that we have. But you know, the more I started to get out there, and of course I got more attention and stuff as a man, you know, I've been with him since I was 17. And so the more I got out there, as a man, you're seeing a whole bunch of people talking to your woman. You're like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah, I want to know.
He's like,
what's
he wants
the
the password. And at first I was straight up and I'm like, no, period. He's like, why? I'm like, no, I'm not. That's just, what can I have as my own privacy? You know, it took a couple of sections with people, you know, talking with them to really come to the understanding, like, okay, give this password. Like, to be honest with you, I just went ahead and did it because it works for the relationship and to make everyone feel comfortable. Instead of, because I hate for people to check behind me. And sometimes, you know, he used to do that. I'm like, dude, it's about to be a problem. Do not check behind me. I don't check behind you. But yeah, I just gave the password. I leave my Facebook open. I leave whatever. I'm not good with password. So when I have my one password, like, you want to take it? I'm like, no. How much? What else do you want from me? I used to always make the joke. I'm like, do you want blood? Because you know everything about me already. But that password, man. The thing is, you give people the password and things that you would just take to be a joke, they take it from 0 to 360. It's like, come on. Like, these are my homies. We know how we talk. But then my husband always said to me, when you're married, there should be some limit of conversations and some boundaries that shouldn't be crossed. Even with the conversations that you have via text or even via phone, people can misunderstand things sometimes. And so when those people come up to you and they're making, you know, a kind of statement and you try to respond, trust me, some people, they don't go down so well. And some of them didn't go down so well with him. So I just surrender. I surrender it all. I'm like, there you go. You go ahead and read the messages, and then once I gave him the password, he really don't even check anymore.
Well, you see, yep, that's how it looks. Because it's like, you know, somebody was asking that question, and that is exactly what you just said right now. You know, maybe you hit that point. It's like not providing your password though. Not providing your password, does that automatically mean that you're hiding something? Because the thing is, if you do not provide your password, the person is always going to be thinking that there must be a reason behind this. Like you just stated your own situation right now. After providing the password, the husband is not checking anymore. But before you did, he was really much
like
into it. Like, you know what? I just got to get this because there must be something in there.
He wanted to be on the first 48 solving murder cases. He wanted to check for everything. And, you know, and try to just go through every little detail. And sometimes it is not so good because when you do those things, it kind of put out there a little bit of security. And then the person now start to think, like, what is going on? Because you see, sometimes people do those things honestly because they're cheating. They want to try and attack you first. In my case, that's not the case, thank God. But most times when you see people, they're so particular about getting to find out what you are doing. It's because they're doing something, and just because you're not speaking about it don't mean maybe you don't know, but they're afraid. And so they actually want to know what exactly you're doing.
Exactly. And you know, right after this discussion, like for you guys that will be watching on Facebook, because people that are watching on TV will not be able to follow us on our next discussion. If you want to follow us, you got to go to Farafina. That is Farafina, and then show SHOW. We do have our page, so you can go to that page and be able to watch the program that is going to be coming after this. And hopefully we can have Andrea on most of the time. Like we said, she has a Thursday program, which is called
An Hour of Wisdom.
You know, An Hour of Wisdom. And her name is on the screen there, so if you want to check her Facebook page, you can also go ahead and check that page. So that program is always Thursdays at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and it's a very interesting program. You got to see it, and you will know how it looks like.
Thank you.
I have been following it, so make sure you watch that too, and then you give us a call to let us know what you think about this one, especially this issue of password here.
Oh my
because
God.
now the question is, for most of you guys that will be calling though, do you have access to your significant other's password? Why or why? If yes, why? If no, why not? Because there should be a reason why. And does it really matter to have that password? And what if you don't have the password? Does that mean that the person is automatically hiding something from you, or he or she is cheating on you? Because That's the big problem we have today. You know, you want to know about somebody else's password, but then you are like, you know what? This person does not deserve to know mine. So then I am thinking this way.
You want my password? You give me your password. We can exchange passwords.
You know, I used to do this. Like, you know, when my wife was back home, we had pretty much the same Facebook, same password. You know, like her password, because I used the reason why I did that was I used to access her Facebook for her here. Like, I created an account and everything. So that means I had access to her page, because I was like, if you lose your password or something, you are not really good at, you know, going on the phone and stuff. So I am going to be doing it. So I need to have that. But then what I decided to do was to have the same password for the both of us. And we used to operate like that. You know, when I went back home, she was like, oh, what's your password? I'm like, the same password you get is the same thing that I have. So just go ahead and try it, and it's going to work. But I know it's not that easy. I actually had to stop that at the end of the day. Well, it's not that easy. And, you know, Andrea will want to know more about that. But yeah, there was no big reason behind that. But the thing is, you got to do one of those two things. If you cannot have, if you want to have access to the person's password, I am thinking they should be able to have access to yours too. Or let it be the other way around. You don't know mine, I don't know yours, and we are done.
We're good.
And let everybody to try to be faithful in that relationship.
But you know something, like people think now like the whole social media password is all to it. There are so many apps now. That can just conceal the ultimate cheater and crown them king or queen of everything, because they got way too many apps. So don't be so focused on social media. Like, someone can be dating someone on social media and you can agree not to even like the person's picture, not to even comment. Regardless whether someone is going to pay attention to or who like your picture or not. But it is a choice. And so once again, it comes down to you understanding exactly what you want out of that relationship. Because the men out here now, you know, they're even creating a second account just to be able to talk to their girlfriends. And the women are doing the same too. You know, women, we always come up with some dope ideas. And so we do those things, we're communicating, or you're making sure you're deleting stuff and everything like that. But man, sometimes you just forget though. You forget. But then they have these hating apps. It's like, and then the men too, y'all, when y'all get home, y'all put the phone on airplane mode. It's like, but then when we're about to go on vacation, you guys are buying ticket. That airplane mode better be able to take us on the vacation. But you know, that's all part of it. But we all just have to show mutual respect, be it in the presence or in the absence of your partner. You have to understand that your actions, one person's actions, can cause the whole family. So we need to be very respectful.
Oh, it cannot be said any better than that. You know, this has been a great program. We have all enjoyed this, and I'm sure you guys that are watching are enjoying also. And like I said, right after this program, if you are watching us on Facebook, there will be a live program coming up with me and Andrea sitting right here to discuss with you guys. We have said ours. It is time for you to tell us what you also think. So take this number down right now and be ready to give us a call. That is 763-221-1661. Right after this program, that is something that will be coming up. Give us a call. Talk to us about one of those three things. We will give you 2 minutes each to talk to us. Maybe you might have an extra minute, because I know some people want to talk about all three of them. The first one is it easy to be faithful in a relationship, or is it harder? Which one is it? And your significant other, does he or she deserve to know your password of the social media account? And also, arguing in a relationship, is it something natural? Is it good? Is it bad? Which one is okay? What is your thought on all of these things? What do you think? Because we have said ours, it's up to you now to tell us what you think. And again, we want to thank Andrea. Like I said, Andrea's show is always on Thursdays on Facebook, and that is an hour of wisdom, Thursday at 9 p.m. Central Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Wherever you live, you know, you can try to convert that time into your time zone and be able to catch up on that program. It is very interesting. You can always join and learn more, and also share more idea with her. You know, so her page, you know, her name is up there. take a look at the name, and then go on her Facebook page. Be ready to join her on Thursday nights, you know, every Thursday. So Andrea, I want to say thanks to you for being with us today. Hopefully we can have you more and more on here for us to discuss more. So you guys that are all watching right now, on the TV, we want to say thanks to you. It was a pleasure having you here. For those that are on Facebook, do not go away. Stay glued to your monitors. Just stay right there and be able to participate in our call-in program. Call us and tell us what you think. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.